great value is the greatest value on planet Earth. And he's making fake, bogus, fake YouTube videos talking about great value is a big bozo. Okay, so today we're talking about this thing that's going on. I made a little video earlier. I want to pick me up a couple of batteries. All right, trying to act dumb like everybody else. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. Nope. I bought this. I suggest you get one too. It's a stabilizer. They look pretty good. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try it right now. Okay, so bear with me. And we're talking about these things that everybody's starting to build. Remember, I came out with the idea. I know, tooting my own horn. Let me see if this thing even fits in here. It does not. Okay, unless you put it in this way. Okay, so we'll have to put it this way. I hope it's not covering up the microphone. Yeah. So it's made a little strange. Okay, but it's still good, I guess. Okay, we'll put it right there. Wow. Okay, I don't know. See how good it is. Well, it holds the camera. That's all I can say. It holds the camera pretty damn good. So I'm going to put it right here. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's sliding down. Okay, I'm going to put it right there. How's that? Let me get a little something here. You know, makeshift. Okay, and then let me check the signal, make sure everything's coming out good. See, because this holder, which holds the phone good, it's theoretically it's supposed to have a stand, but I guess the bozos didn't know what the hell they were doing, so it doesn't open up to stand. Which I've had so many of these, so many of them break and stuff. I had a real nice one, and they don't make them no more. But anyhow, so you remember I came out with the idea. I came out with the idea of a solar carport because nobody's making them. This is a carport you build yourself at home, right? When you get home, especially if you live in the rural areas. Let me check the signal. Because I've got the main phone right here, so let me check the signal. Because the signal out here is not that great. Okay, so go to YouTube. How y'all doing today? You doing good? I'm sitting here having some menudo and drank a whole 18-pack of soda in 3 days. More than an 18-pack. So I got to go back on the wagon on soft drinks. I've got me 1 can of tea, so I'm going to start back on the tea. Now, they took the fructose corn syrup out of the sodas. Now, why don't they take it out of the tea, right? The ginseng tea with honey, green tea with ginseng and honey. Okay, so let me see what's going on here. What's going out there in the world? Okay, I see justice. I'm going to read this under Copyright Act. I never will leave a comment speaking about prophecy or asking you to donate. Could have fooled me. It seems like you're always asking people to donate. I'd like some donate too. That's why I got Cash App, but nobody sent me a red penny. Right? Yeah, I've got it tied to this one place, and as far as I know, nobody's ever sent a red cent. I used to use PayPal. Anyway, let me get back. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, I'm gonna go live. Okay, there's one that's live, so let me come in here. And okay, Superstar Fion is always on. That's what I got to do. I got to go wash my clothes. I got to go wash my clothes in a little while here. But we're already up to triple digits right now. So let me just check the signal. And of course, it's acting funny like usual lately. Yeah, I don't even got a signal. Don't even have a freaking signal. I might have to go back and start all over again. Okay, there I am. Okie dokie. Got 2 people in the room. I see there's comments. MPV, Kello Kamari. I see y'all in here. Okay, so signal's good. So let me get back to what I was saying. For all you people building these things that I came out with. Why? Because necessity is mother of invention. Okay? People who were never had to struggle in their life, they don't have an idea to save their life. They wouldn't have an idea to save their life as far as inventing anything useful for the people, right? For the people who are struggling, who, can't afford decent transportation. Mahatma Gandhi said it. Poverty is the worst form of violence. Every heinous, violent thing you could imagine is because of money. Kevin Trudeau told you the same thing. If you listen to his audio set, you'll hear it. And I think it's like in the first 5 chapters, the first 3 chapters. It's on the first 2 CDs. And I came out with an idea, and it was about 2 years ago I came out with this idea. I was sitting right out here in my car. I was about to go to Fresno to do something, Fresno, California, which is 70 miles away. So I shared this idea with you. And it is a solar carport. Well, whatever I said 2 years ago, they are going gung-ho on this technology. This is the cutting edge of all cutting edges. Is going the engineers, cutting edge technology. Well, some people would argue that's computer or AI and stuff like that. But is battery technology, even though it is, going gung-ho, and they have lithium batteries now, which before they had cadmium, right? And they went to lithium, which lithium was light. It charged fast and had all kinds of power, almost like a capacitor, right? Capacitor will release all its power, just like this, make you sit up and take notice too, because it will. Well, I'm not going to say. Okay, so you had nickel cadmium, which were good for a while. They worked great for cordless drills and all that kind of stuff. Inexpensive. And then they went to lithium. Lithium was like, I can remember, like it was like 2013, around 2013, they came out with lithium. And readily available. You can buy it on eBay. Like Tesla's battery. You've all heard about the Tesla battery. And even Electric Viking was tooting the horn on, the 4680 is the best battery because everybody uses it, this and that. But yet you can't buy a 4680. What is wrong with this picture? Right? You know, the 4680 is about like that size, I imagine. They say it's kind of like almost as big as a soda can. Where like an 18650, they've got an 18650, a 26650. The 18650, which are, those are mostly the kind that go in your computer. You can buy them all day long on eBay. I mean, they were like, you could get 10 of them for 15 bucks. You can hook them all up together and make your own battery, but I don't have time for it. I don't have time for that. And so even though there is all these different batteries, now they got solid state, okay, and they're ready to go in the cars. I think it was Nissan that said, we're ready to put them in the cars this coming year. They're already, you know, they test stuff for like 10 years before they actually release it, right? It's called the they're burned in or whatever. They go through testing and testing and testing. I seen this stuff when I was up in the Silicon Valley, and I did a little bit of that myself, right? I was doing, you know, a little bit kind of like poking around in engineering, which is basically what I'm doing right now. This is basically like engineering, and rudimentary, not, you know, not any of that computer language and, you know, trigonometry and all of that stuff. But anyhow, so now they have solid state batteries and they're ready to go in the cars next year. Okay, as soon as they put them in a car, I'll let you know. And so the technology has just been going through the roof. So even what I told you 2 years ago, everything has completely changed. The solar panels that were available 2 years ago were putting out like what, 50 watts 2 years ago. Now they're putting out 300 watts, and it's still 500 watts. Well, those are a lot bigger, but so it's just like they're going gung-ho on it. Even though I still went down and bought me old school lead acid, water in the battery. Why? I'll tell you why. Because these bozos have the price jacked up about 10 times what it should be. Okay? The technology is there. It's great, but they have the price inflated because they don't want people to do this crap. What people are already doing, people are building their own, like I came out with this idea, a carport. So when you get home, you can plug your car into it. It's nice and shady, right? You plug your car into it. You never go refill your car anywhere with nasty dinosaur technology, filthy pollutant, ozone destroying garbage, gross polluters, right? And everybody's building them. Maybe not carports. Some people are building the carports, but people are building these power stations. Just putting them out in the backyard. Out in the backyard, and some people are actually putting it on their house to power their house. People are already making 5,000, it's called 5 kilowatt. 5 kilowatt power stations, right? Which means that it can charge up the batteries at 5,000 watts, right? 5,000 watts for 1 hour, putting out 5,000 watts, 24 hour, all day long. I think there's 5 hours in the day where you're just, you know, your most. So it doesn't really matter how you tilt them that much, because 5 hours of the day, even if they were just straight across, we're figuring all this stuff out. So why did I choose to just go with the lead acid batteries? Because the lithium batteries cost 10 times more. They have the prices jacked up. They know the people are going to go gung-ho on this stuff. Everybody's experimenting with it. Do-it-yourselfers. They're doing it, showing their systems on YouTube. Go in and look. Everybody's doing it. They're powering their houses with them. You can make your own power because the technology on the solar panels, they're putting out so much energy. It's a piece of cake now because you don't have to have, a mile of solar panels. And so I was looking at a lithium battery, which you can get one down at Walmart or you can order them online. And the cheapest one I saw was like $119, I think, but mostly they're like really inexpensive ones are $129. If you search around, you can find them for $129. And so that's how much I would pay. I wouldn't pay more than $129. So these batteries will put out for certain things that you need. Okay. Some things use a lot more power than other things, right? Like lights. Lights don't use very much power, but other things like, things for heating up like stoves, your refrigerators, stoves, hot water heater, all that stuff, you need some power. So that's why these people are building these, because you can do it now. You can generate 5,000 watts of power to charge batteries. Your battery charger is charging at 5,000 watts for you to store this energy and use it later however you want it. Okay, so that's basically what we're doing. And there's a bunch of people coming out with really good stuff. I mean, they have them to where they're just pulling them around and you ground them out. They're grounding them out to the earth. But I think this is one area that really, really needs attention. The ground thing where they're putting the ground into the earth should be some kind of huge ball, like an anchor, right? Something big that people can see so they don't go, so they'll know to stay away from it. It should be a big thing for the ground, because right now they're just putting little stakes in there and they're complaining about them that they're, go in and see it. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I think that's the next thing. But I'll talk about that later when I actually start to design one and build one. But right now, the things that I've seen on YouTube right now, there are some people coming out with some good ideas. They have them to where you can just pull it around, move it wherever you want. They're putting wheels on them, right? And so other people are out in the boonies and they've got their whole, power meter and, in a little shed. So it's really cool. And so energy is the number one industry on planet Earth. You don't think there's people telling them better put those prices up and stuff, and they're doing all kinds of stuff to stop the people from. They're going to start putting out all kinds of negative stuff as we speak. They're listening. And so yeah, it'd be great to have these batteries. They're light, right? Light. You need basically 5 of them, 5 batteries. That's probably what I'm going to be working with. And but $129, you're talking $500, $600, $700 just for the batteries. So that's why I went with the old technology, which is, you know, a little bit more dangerous, but it's all I've got. I don't have $700 to be dishing out for some batteries until they lower the price on them. The price is basically 10 times as much because these batteries are rated differently than your battery when you go down to buy a battery for your car. You know, your 12-volt battery, auxiliary battery that runs all your, starts the car. And I'm not talking about the EV cars that run. I'm not talking about the high voltage batteries, Pat. Okay. The regular battery that you buy for your car, you know, to start your engine, things like that, are not rated the same. Okay. They're not rated in ampere hours. Okay. And so these new batteries are. And the most common one is a 100 ampere battery, which is basically 1,200 watts. The battery will put out 1,200 watts for 1 hour because it can put out 100 amps for 1 hour. So 100 multiplied by the voltage of the battery gives you your watts. Okay. And so they're rated in 100 ampere hours. Your batteries that you go buy from Walmart aren't. Okay. So how many amperes hours are they? Who the hell knows? You're going to have to test them yourself to find out because they sure as hell ain't telling you. Okay. And these 100 ampere hour batteries are $129. Okay. So this battery, which is probably as big as one, probably twice as big. Who knows? I don't know because I don't have $129 to shell out for one of these batteries to see what they're all about. Okay. This battery costs $29, which is basically 5 times cheaper. It's not 10 times cheaper. It's 5 times cheaper, right? I don't got my calculator. $29 compared to $129. That's about 5 times cheaper, right? And so this is Dinosaur Technology battery, but they're not rated in ampere hours. They're rating it in cold cranking amps, which is 250 amps, 250 amperes. So it stands to reason that this battery should have no issue supplying 100 amps for 1 hour. So that's what I'm going to test. I'm going to test if it can do it. But before I do that, I don't need 100 freaking amps for what I'm doing. Okay? I only need 10 amps. Okay? So this is going to be the first test that I'm going to do on it because that's what I need. I don't care about this other stuff. Okay? I'll test it on that other stuff later. But if it does, can you imagine if this battery puts out 100 ampere hours, $29 compared to $129, I'm going to blast that all over the internet. And so 10 amperes is 100 watts. That's basically what I need. But I don't need it for 1 hour. I need it for a good 10 hours, 10 or 12 hours, maybe 14 hours, okay? I need it to put out 10 amps, which is 100 watts, for 10 hours. That's what I need it for. So that's what I'm going to run. And that's what I'm designing right now. That's why I went down and picked up these batteries, because I found out that my main battery, which the battery that I bought 7 years ago, I was designing this to run a microwave oven. Okay, so it has to be able to put out like 2,000 watts for, you know, however long you run your microwave oven. Most of you run your oven for 2 minutes, right? And it did that. It puts out 700 amps, and the battery was only like $100. It's the old technology, lead acid battery, but you know, the water dries up. And this battery that I got, I showed it to you before. You can't refill it. It doesn't have the deals like other batteries. Don't ask me why. So anyway, here I am lugging around this freaking boat anchor, right? It's supposed to be a, you know, thousands and thousands of watt battery. And the other day I tested it, was, you know, completely drained. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I charged it up. So I didn't know if it was good or not. I put it on the tester. It's supposed to put out 700 amps. Okay. That's 7,000 watts, over 7,000 watts, which is, you know, enormous. And I was very proud of this battery. I was like, damn, this battery is unbelievable. And it was made in Korea. I think this one is made in Korea. The ones I just got are made in Vietnam. And so I tested it on a battery tester, the kind you test your car battery to see if you need a new battery. It's a load tester, and it'll tell you how many amps it's putting out, and it shows you the voltage. You know, as the voltage goes down, if it goes into the red, then it's no good. And so I put it there and I checked it. You know, it went all the way down to like 10, 12. You know, down to 12. I kept it right at 12. Right around there. And it put out, basically, it could barely even put out half, not even half, which is like, after I did a whole bunch of stuff to put out like 250 and 250 amps. And so I thought, well, probably it's still good, right? I mean, 250 amps, but it's supposed to put out 700. And so here I was lugging it around. And so, so I tested it on the tester, and I tested it for 100 amps, which is, you know, 1,200 watts. That's a lot of power. So I put it on there, and it's 100 amps, no problem, right? It's staying right at 12 volts. And so I'm like, well, probably it's, you know, it's not too bad. So last night I hooked it up in here, and the only thing I could find to test it with, you know, you'd like the 100 watt load to test it with. And well, I don't have all that stuff that I used to have, and even if I had, I probably couldn't find it. Couldn't remember where anything's at. The only thing I could find was a 40 watt light bulb, and so you know, even the light bulbs these days you can't hardly test because they're LEDs. And so, you know, I found a 40 watt incandescent. That's the old light bulbs we used to use in the old days. I was looking for a halogen, but, you know, hardly nobody uses halogens anymore. The LEDs obsoleted all of these things. Used to be, you know, you could find halogen lights everywhere. They used to sell them at Harbor Freight for 99 cents, boxes and boxes of them. And they just waste so much electricity. They've been obsoleted, but they were useful to use as testing devices. So anyhow, I had 40 watts and I plugged it in. I put it there on the floor. I'll show you. I got a lamp. Luckily, I found this somewhere. So basically what you have to do is go to Home Depot and get a whole bunch of stuff to test these kind of things. And put a light bulb in here. I took it out now because I didn't want it to get busted. But I've got a little bit better way to test it now. I've got one of those lamps. I'm going to load it up with a couple good light bulbs, and I'll be testing it out this way, because this is testing out, with the plugs we use here in the United States. It's your line you plug into your house. And so I plugged this into it, and I plugged in my inverter to the battery, and it ran for like 1 hour, no problem. I thought it was going to run all night because that's what I'm trying to design. I need it to run for at least 10 hours. And so it was like, no problem. So yeah, well, it must be a good battery. I mean, it's good enough to supply 100 watts for 10 hours. It should be no problem. So, it's getting late, and I'm not going to sit here and watch it for 10 hours. So I go over to the room and start to go to sleep. And then I hear the freaking inverter. Beep! That's the same issue I was having with it because the voltage dropped. So I came over and I looked at it, and my jumper wires are freaking fried. These jumper wires are like 12 years old, and they're garbage. They're just cheap jumper wires. And so I got another jumper wire and jumped it up. Pretty soon I had like 4 different jumper wires on there. It was drawing a little bit more current till finally I saw that it started out at 12.8 volts. And it held 12.8 volts for like an hour and a half, and an hour. And then it dropped down to 12.6. So that's what, I don't know, what's that, 20 millivolts or 200 millivolts, one or the other. And so it dropped down from 12.8, it dropped down to 12.6. So it started working. It was just working there. So I said, oh, it must have been, the wires, it needs more current. And so then I went back there, then beep, that sound is just annoying. So I came over here and I ended up taking the inverter, popping it open, trying to find that speaker, but they make these so you can't take them apart. They don't want you taking them apart. And so almost, I don't even know if that damn thing's going to work now for what I'm going to test it here. And because I was pulling on all the wires, and so it was down to 12.6. And I came back out here and started checking the voltage. And then about 20 minutes later, after I'd gone back to the room again, about 20 minutes later, beep, come back over, and it's freaking down to like under 12 volts. Now after it got past like 12.4 volts, which it started at 12.8, right? So it was 12.8. 12.6, 12.4. After 12.4, it was like about an hour and a half or 2 hours and a half, in between 2.5 hours and 1.5 hours. And then it just started taking a dive. And I was like, battery's no good, right? And so that's why I went down and I got these 2 batteries, because these 2 batteries, they're 29. I forgot to take the core. I get $12 for the core, so that's $24 in cores. I got one old one out there, so I might take this one back, use it as a core, even though it weighs like a boat anchor, right? $12 is $12, and what do I need a freaking boat anchor sitting around for nothing? And so that's what I'm designing. And I've got this, I hooked these up to the battery charger just to, because who knows how long they've been sitting at Walmart. And it started out, it was charging at 8 amps, and it's been on for about an hour and a half. It's down to 1.6 amps charging right now. So it's almost about to, the battery charger is almost about to shut off. And then I'll charge the other one, and then I'm gonna do a test on this and see if I'm gonna try it more than 40 watts. I need at least 60 watts. So I'll probably hook this up because I think this is 15 watts. So that'll give me 50 55 watts. I have this and my incandescent. That'll be 55 watts. That'll be good enough, I think, for right now. Hook up my inverter and see if it'll run all night long. And meanwhile, I'll be charging my other battery. And then these batteries, I'm going to use those for designing these things that everybody's designing. Just put 5 of them in there and see how much power you can do with this, as far as, you know, building your own power station, solar power station, so that you don't have to spend $700 on the batteries. You could spend what, 30 times 5 would be $150. That's a lot more doable. You know, people are going to actually be able to build these things, right? People who know how to test stuff, make sure that everything's, you know, on the up and up. You know, $150 compared to $750 for people who don't have money. These things are going to be being built like hotcakes, and it's already taking off. And so that's what I'm doing. This one's almost about to be tested. Hopefully that inverter still works, because I don't have any more inverters. And so I thought I'd go on here and let you know what I was doing with this. I'll show this to you. It's just that the floor is so filthy right now. I started cleaning up in here, but I still haven't, you know, I've got doing so many different things. I'll be able to show all this stuff to you. And like I said, I was going to put some curtains over here and move stuff around, throw away a whole bunch of stuff. But what I've noticed in doing this testing, even though this is not testing on solar, it's going to be the same thing, because you can get all these things like this. I just got this. I just got to figure out how to hook it up, because they don't come with instructions. Okay, it shows you your voltage and your amperage, so that when you're hooking up an inverter, you can see how much power is being used. So you can basically see how efficient the system is. And all this stuff is going to be used on solar panels too. You can see how efficient your inverter is and all this good stuff. This shows you what's going on in the system. Okay. And so I've got another device, and it's inexpensive. Stuff like this in the old days, man. And there's another device that you can actually, you just plug it right in. This is like for the 12-volt system, and the other system that's on, you know, the 120-volt system, your AC, the AC system. This is for DC. That stuff, you just plug it in and plug your device into it, and it shows you everything. Inexpensive. Backlit display shows you how much watts it's using, shows you how much current it's using, you know, measures it over time. It does all kinds, got all the bells and whistles. Really nice device, and it's a large device. And I mean, it's like under $20 for testing all this stuff. Why? Because they know that the people are going to go gung-ho making these power supplies, and they're going to sell mega bucks of these solar panel power generating stations that you can use to power your house. You can use it to charge your car, all that good stuff. So, you know, it's just necessity's mother of invention. I'm trying to, you know, use it for something, but all this stuff is the same stuff you're going to be running into when you're designing these systems, because you'll want to know how efficient the system is. And when you buy a inverter, like you can go down to the stores and you can buy inverters, you can buy them off Amazon or eBay. They are completely 100% not telling you what kind of freaking inverter it is. There's two kinds of inverters. There's a modified wave inverter, which is the cheap one, and there's a pure sine wave, which is almost exactly the same as what comes out of your house, right? The cheap one, if you try running certain type of things, it'll make a buzz sound, a bzzz, you know, it's annoying and it's rough on your equipment. But these are the kind, I would say probably 80% of the stuff on the market are these modified wave. It's not pure sine wave. And another thing, these modified wave inverters need to get them out, right? They shouldn't even be available. They're no good. And that's what this one is. I mean, they work, but why even have it? You have the technology. They're already available. They're not expensive. I have one. And you can get them on eBay. It's but some people are saying pure and it's not pure. Some people are lying. Okay? Another thing is that the inverters, they're not listing their efficiency. So all these people who are building solar power stations are going to want to know this when they buy an inverter. Because who wants to be harnessing all this energy, trying to store all this energy when it's being burnt up by your inverter? You can feel them. See how hot they're getting. That's wasted energy. They're not listing the efficiency. The one I got is not expensive, and it lists the efficiency of it. It's the only one that I've seen that actually lists the efficiency, and it says it's 98% efficient. Now with these devices, you can go in and you can test it. Why? Because they don't want them to be efficient. They want them to waste as much power as possible. Okay, so all these power inverters, the modified wave inverters need to go because they're just messing up all your equipment. You don't want to plug your computer into one of these things. Okay? It's just nasty. It's got a nasty, ugly signal in it that destroys equipment. And so those need to go. 80% of them on the market are these crappy things. I think they're doing it on purpose to blow all the equipment up so you can have to buy all new stuff. And another thing, they need to list the efficiency of the unit, because I had one the other brand new. I spent like $20-some on it, and plug it in, and the damn thing gets hot. And that's no good. We need efficient stuff. Okay, so that's all I've got for right now, and I'll finish up this testing, and then I'll get back to you because, you know, I invented this. I'm the one who came out with the idea. I told you 2 years ago out there. I told you everybody's going to start building these. They're doing it now. Go in and look. I'll find a whatchamacallit, and on my next video, I'll show you some of these people who are doing this stuff. Okay, there's somebody on here who's leaving the same message. I'm gonna have to block you because this is, you know, this is bot material. Okay, so I'm gonna have to block this one. I'm gonna hide this from the channel forever because it's probably a bot. Okay. And you other people, I don't know what you're talking about in here. So I'll leave those alone. I see in there birthday person. Danko, you're leaving a bunch of dumb stuff. This is bot material, so I'm going to have to block this one too. Okay. And so I see jail and the first. All right, there's a few people in the messages. There's only one person in here right now. So yeah, I'll show you some of these people who are building these things. They have them to where they have rope on them. They move them around in their backyard. And it's amazing, because I'm the one who came out with the idea. And the people are building them already. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. People haven't caught on. It hasn't, right? Of how important this is. You're your own power generating station. Was unavailable before. The solar panels only put out 15 watts, and the panels cost $100 at Radio Shack, right? Now you can get a 300-watt panel for like $100. Everybody's building them. 5,000-watt systems. That's all it needed. Because before, you couldn't get enough power to run your water cooler or your microwave oven, your washing machine. Not no more. They're here. They're building them. It's pretty nice. With I think it's like 5 panels and you're good to go. 5 panels, 5 batteries. Pretty much 5 batteries. So anyhow, we'll talk to you later. Today is Saturday. Did you see the moon last night? The moon last night was so red, I could not believe it. And it was quiet out here. I was like, what is the universe trying to tell us? All these people who study astrology, maybe they know. But, I mean, it was so red. I mean, it was solid red. You know how a lot of the time they'll say it's going to be a red moon, and the moon comes out and it's like orange. I mean, this one was like fire red, right? I mean, pretty close to red. It was orangey red, but dark red. It's the reddest I've ever seen it. Did you see it last night? It was right out there. And then it turned white. I think, was that last night? No, the night before last night, it was bright. I mean, it was bright all night long. So, I just thought I'd mention that, what's going on with the moon. And so, that's all I've got for right now. I got myself 2 batteries. I paid $29 a piece for them, and they've got a core charge, so I actually paid $40 a piece, so like $80. So I got $24 coming back if I ever get a chance to take the cores back to Walmart. And I probably will, because you can actually get, these are 250 amps, so I'm gonna check them out, do some experimenting with them, and they've got another battery in there. They've got like 3 different sizes on these inexpensive batteries, the most inexpensive batteries on the planet, and for like $10 more, you can bump up the amperage double. You can double the amperage. So instead of 250, they're putting out 400 amps for like $10 more. But I got the cheapest one I could because, well, it's cheaper. And so I'll check all this stuff. But if I need it later on, to build a system with more power, then I will invest another $10 and check out the 400 ampere batteries and see what the difference is, if everything is on the up and up and legit. Right now, like I said, I'm just trying to see if this battery will supply 100 watts for 10 hours. That's what I'm trying to do, so that the freaking inverter doesn't, right? And once I get all that stuff taken care of, then we're going to find out. And I know there's probably people taking off to Walmart right now are going to do the test. See if it'll put out 100 amp per hour. See if it'll put out 100 amps for 1 hour. If they do, the lithium manufacturer is going to have to dump their price when the people find out. Okay. All right. So that's all I've got for right now. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing this information. And thanks for giving the video a like. That way other people can find it. If you want to catch me when I'm doing a live stream like I am right now, then you have to have the YouTube app downloaded, right? I mean, I'm like, who doesn't have the app, right? But if you don't, download the app, and that way you can get notifications. Hit the notification bell. Okay, I will show you more stuff later. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to y'all later.